learning objectives and all this basically. And we do it in our memes, we do it in our lectures, we do it all over the place. It's why we're the biggest place to discuss this topic on the internet.
Yeah.
This isn't our home server either.
Can I have a question?
I think go ahead.
Because so let's assume that Earth is flat. Can you build physics on this assumption that is scalable?
Yeah, all of modern physics is built on the knowledge of and use of a flat Earth. We can prove it. We can prove it in reality and in the math. We can show you how the math begins with the globe as an idea, and because the globe doesn't match observable reality, they introduce mathematical concepts to massage the data in order that the flat world can be turned into a globe conceptually and satisfy the minds of people who are looking for curvature that doesn't exist.
And can you walk off the edge of the flat Earth?
No, don't be silly.
Wait, but
it's a good question, I think.
How do you create theory of gravity? Right? Because gravity effect.
I don't have one.
You don't have theory of gravity?
No, I observe.
And you travel perfectly east from New York.
There's your problem, right?
Okay. Well, just hear me out. If you're traveling what's considered perfectly east, right, from New York, how come you arrive back at New York again if you're still going east?
East and west are relative directions, relative to an absolute direction of true north, right? So if we go due east or west, we're going around north, like grabbing a maypole and swinging around it.
Yeah.
East and west is, and it's over a flat manifold.
Yo, my flat earthers, what's up?
Good morning. Welcome to Speculation Sundays, part of 24/7 Flat Earth Discord.
Thank you.
Okay, what it looks like to go east and west on your map for you, so you can get an idea of what it looks like to go in a circle.
Excuse me. I have a question.
I'll just mute your ass.
All right, thank you.
Off to a good start.
Yeah, obviously. I have a question here, brothers. Is frequency ground wave or skywave?
I think it's all ground wave. That there's no ionospheric bounce, or nobody knows anything about the ionosphere, what it is, or even if it exists in any form that they conceive it.
And how come the 20 meter? How does the 10 meter band works? How does the 28.100 frequency works? Because it is not ground wave. It does not travel through the ground. Sure,
line of sight, right? And then it's subject to absorption and scattering through the terrain.
No, again, it's not ground wave because if we're talking about the 40 meter band, 20 meter band, those travel at night. It travels through the ground, and when it's daytime, it travels through the ionosphere.
Yes, you're talking like what's causing HF to reach so far at nighttime, where you got like the so-called sporadic E layer and the F layers coming out.
Not nighttime. Forget about those higher bands. Let's do just 10 meters or 6 meters, for example.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking me why it goes so far because Earth is flat?
Yeah.
Because Earth is flat. And this conforms to antenna theory, and like all the greats that gave us everything that we know of today and we use and implement today for radio transmission, right? Because there's something called like the half space problem. Do you know what that is?
No, explain to me, brother.
Okay. The question is if Earth is a globe, how is it that you've got transmissions that can go so far? So in the early 1900s, Sommerfeld and King, two guys of modern antenna theory, developed a solution to this that involved incorporating a flat Earth. and they envisioned radio wave propagations as
Are you talking about
going
Popov?
between two surfaces above and below, and the principal mechanism is ground wave. And as you release a transmission, it's just basically altering the polarity of everything in its path, positive and negative as it beams out.
Well, are we talking about Popov, the Russian guy?
No.
I've
got a question.
Go ahead.
Apparently the moon, right? The moon's up there in our sky. Do you agree with the figure? Like, I'm just Googling it here. It says the moon is an average of 238,855 miles away from the surface of Earth. Would you agree with that, or do you disagree with that?
Their own claim betrays their own mechanisms of action. So, for example, if there's relativity, I'd like to see how they incorporate relativity into their laser or radio ranging of the moon.
Okay.
Yeah, so they haven't demonstrated that they've ever done that. They use Newtonian mechanics.
Would you agree that it's like a fair distance away, though?
Yeah, for sure. It's probably. I mean, you can sort of triangulate it, but your variance is going to be like between 3,000 and 4,000 miles. Same with the sun, and it's practically useless. And we know that anytime you do that, it's going to be relative to each independent observer on Earth, also globe or flat. Yep, and this is because the globe claims that the sun is infinitely distant, basically 93 million miles away, and massive. I mean, we're talking like 100 times the size of Earth or something. And so the assumption is parallel rays come in. So and the rays are not proven to be such at all, and we don't see it either.
I did another measure. I measured what would be the rough distance between New York City and Mount Everest, and it's about apparently 7,530 miles. That's like a fraction of what that measure is from the surface of Earth to the moon. And I said, could you see, let's say, could you see Mount Everest from New York City, like on the tallest, building?
No.
Could you look across in the direction and see? And then someone said, no, because you don't have clarity, like the atmosphere.
There's too much. Yeah, light absorption is your problem.
Okay.
So diffraction through media is the number one reason why you can't see things in the distance.
Okay, but you can see the moon, which is an immense distance away.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Size, or is it because
it could be? We don't know. We don't even know what we're seeing when we look at the moon. No, is the moon the source of the image that we're seeing, or is it a projection or reflection, or is it some kind of manifestation of something else? I don't know. I can tell you that when we look at it, there is an appearance of terrain.
Mm-hmm. So, sorry to zigzag and jump back to another topic, but you know how I said education's interesting because it's like.
Wait, one second. Is Eagle there? Eagle, you there?
I'm around. What's up?
Oh, I thought you left. My bad. Go ahead. Who was talking?
Oh, all good. The concept of education and when a kid goes through schooling, so when they're by the age of say 35 or something, like I'm roughly 35, if I try to think back to what I learned in grade, grade 8, I couldn't tell you the topics that I learned in the science classes, specifically, so it's I've learned all this content through my schooling. Some of it has stuck, a lot of it has been forgotten, or I'm rusty or blurry on, right, with my memory.
It's even worse. You were probably taught things closer to the truth as a kid, but then you were indoctrinated in the media, which pulled you away from the foundations. I guarantee if you take a 10th grade textbook in physics and open it up, you'll see that we are teaching out of that kind of stuff.
Right. So to make anything solid knowledge and something that you can recall, you would have to recite it and revisit the topic over and over to really grasp it and be able to recall it properly.
But I've got my old college books from 20, 30 years ago, and I refer to them all the time.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is that, okay, school is not necessarily about teaching a child content, although some of it does stick and it's important and, it's useful. but it's more so a measure of their ability to learn. And like, if you have a high ability to learn and retain information and recite it on demand, like through an exam or, that kind of thing, then you're deemed intelligent or smart, and you'll likely, go on to, higher education and qualify for certain things because you're smart. Like, your ability to learn is high. Whereas other kids might not be so lucky. Their ability to learn is low. They're deemed unintelligent or dumb or, yada, yada, yada. So with the flat earth thing, I think it's interesting. There's like this other perspective. There's this other dynamic to the flat earth debate. It's not so much the content of it being flat earth, but it's the context of questioning
spot on
what we've been taught and what is pushed.
Yeah, we teach how to think. Right, at the end of the day, we want to teach people how to think with honesty and being honest with themselves about their senses and how to think about them.
Right, so like questioning the programming rather than the content of whether the earth is round or flat. Like, that's the content, but the context is like, why are we asking the question? And like, why, I
wouldn't even focus on the fact that we are, programmed, that we're inculcated from birth with basically traumatic programming, and we're indoctrinated. I would sidestep all of that. We talk to people from different cultures all the time, who don't get the same experience. Like, we'll talk to a Bangladeshi, right, about flat earth, and you get a whole different perspective on this topic than talking to like somebody from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would sidestep all that for the sake of this discussion. We are not interested. And I know it's Speculation Sunday, folks, but our community maintains a very strict tone when it comes to making claims and discussing them. We consider ourselves empiricists. We demand empirical validation of claims. And if you can't prove it in reality, then it may as well just be your imagination. So we focus on empiricism. We can therefore sidestep all the speculation, blaming people for lying or speculating if NASA is full of people that are concealing flat earth from the public. I think all that's silly. You know how I look at this? Let me give you a new perspective. Have you ever heard of the noble lie? Plato used to talk about it. The noble lie. What is it? It's basically a lie that an emperor tells his public or allows to propagate, which unites people behind a common cause. A lot of imperial cults throughout the centuries, throughout the civilizations, have introduced the noble lie through an imperial cult religion in order to pacify the public and get everybody to find common ground. Because when people find commonalities amongst each other, their risk levels go down. Social contracts go up, and it's a good thing for peace. So I look at today's heliocentric model and its entire trappings and the belief behind it as a big cosmic noble lie in the imperial cult of the West.
Mm-hmm. So, I have an interesting one. I'm sure you have this phrase in the US, but let's say like someone is a little bit eccentric. They believe things that aren't widely accepted, right? Like they're challenging what the norm is, right? Which is probably like what you guys, I'm assuming, would feel like. You guys feel like you're the minority and the majority of people are indoctrinated, right? Yeah. So, that phrase, get with the program? Like when someone's acting a bit like they're not with it, or they're crazy, the phrase is, spoken, get with the program, man.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
They're the cow of the herd that's going to weaken the rest of the herd.
So that phrase in itself has the keyword in it, program, get with the program. Like, because that's all it is.
There's a program.
It's a program. It is. It's a program. And we all live in a program. We are.
If you want to expose the program, just ask people to produce evidence for the things that they believe to be true in the globe. And it's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how people's emotions suddenly come out front. And you know what that indicates? That indicates a Pavlovian response, which is emotional conditioning. You got subject operant conditioning going on. When people's first reactions to something like flat Earth is extremely emotional, you know it's not coming from a place of logic and reason and evidence. And that's what's interesting. And that's why I call this like a big religion. Like everybody's indoctrinated into a cult, and we're the cult deprogrammers, trying to get people to think for themselves.
Okay, so I have a question, maybe. Maybe it's something I missed, but Egoslave, could you explain maybe once again what happens with boundary? Right? If I go far enough, I should reach boundary, right?
Well, I mean, if there is one, and what is the nature of that boundary? Nobody knows. Nobody can tell, because what you're essentially trying to do is go from like 3-dimensional space into 4-dimensional space and describe 4-dimensional space, and you can't do it.
You can. I mean, depending on...
not coherently. It's impossible. I'd like to see you try to tell me about 4 spatial dimensions.
I mean, there is mathematical theory, right, for this.
Yeah, well, that's mathematics, right? That's all conceptual. Just because you can do it in math doesn't mean it exists in reality. I mean, look at freaking computer games. They're built on math. They're not real.
Okay. So you don't allow for any evidence that is not from experience.
No, that's not what I said. We demand empiricism. Now, why should I believe something that can't be empirically validated? That's my question to you.
I mean, scientifically, you build theory that aligns...
Yeah, theories come from rigorous testing experimentally, where you're manipulating things in reality to see if they cause other things to happen.
Yeah, and you build theory based on this. That's
empiricism, yep. That's a scientific method that's empirical.
Yes, and...
Okay, what's your problem with that? Because we're empiricists too.
Yeah, well, my problem is that, well, I'm not a physicist, but I believe all or many experiments are well explained by Earth being a sphere, right? And not flat.
Like what?
Gravity. I mean, okay, you don't have gravity apparently, but...
Oh, well, if you have an experiment for gravity that has an independent variable, I'd like to hear about it.
What do you mean independent variable?
So do you know what the scientific method is? Do you know what a hypothesis is? Do you know any of these things?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, not being a physicist, I get it. I'm not a physicist either.
Yeah, I'm not a physicist, so...
All right. So the point of science is to determine what causes things in the natural realm through experimentation and manipulating presumed causes.
Yes.
All right. So when it comes to gravity, what do you manipulate to prove that gravity is a field?
Well, I manipulate mass, right?
Right. Nothing in reality, and that's the point. Because you can manipulate computer simulations all day long.
I mean, you can take massive metal balls and you can observe that there will be some acceleration, right?
Prove it, because we talk about the Cavendish experiment all the time. If you can prove it, you get a prize.
Oh, so what's wrong with this experiment? I thought that it's...
Well, from the very get-go, it's not analogous, because the claim is that we observe things falling down, like when we drop something, but in Cavendish, you set up something to move sideways.
Okay, I see.
Not analogous at all.
Okay, yeah, but yes.
Many more problems after that.
It's not analogous unless you assume certain theory that would explain.
Right, so should you have a bias? Why should you have a bias or remove that bias assumption from your scientific experimentation? The whole point of science is to rule out biases, dude, so you come up with the truth.
Yeah, but it explains...
okay, explanations without evidence are just stories, science fiction, and pseudoscience. All right, if someone else can take over, I gotta go. I have chores to do and a lot of stuff. Sorry, I have to cut this short.
Yeah, no problem. It's really sketchy, this flat earth theory, but it's interesting to hear.
Yes, the globe is very sketchy.
Yo,
Nothing makes sense
where
on
you
the
from,
globe.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's like this idea of gravity. That's a hurdle you'd have to get over first. Like, what is it? Can you define what you're talking about? And generally, no.
I mean, you build theory, right, in physics that will explain experiments, and you come up with gravity, right? A theory of gravity. That's how it worked. I guess.
Either way you cut it, whether you're a flat earther or not, I think it's a measure of your intelligence that you're questioning. It's like those who go ahead and not question, or not even think about the question.
Yeah,
but
you know,
one thing is intelligence.
One thing is questioning. One thing is questioning, right? And other thing is building theories. I mean, if we could come up with successful flat Earth theory that would produce other theories and would be somehow compatible with them, and that would explain other phenomena, then I would be all down for this, right? But
what's an example of that you think happens? What's an example of that? What's a globe Earth theory that produced another theory that then produced
gravity?
You're too low, Chris.
Gravity produces gravity is very consistent theory, at least on large scale, right? And it explains movements of stars, of planets that we observe, right? Do you agree?
No, you haven't talked about the Earth yet. Okay, go back to the Earth here. What theory on Earth got you to?
Well, if we assume that the globe is, that Earth is a sphere, right? And if we assume that, or more or less a sphere, right? If we assume that other celestial bodies are also spheres, then we can, and then we can create a model of solar system and explain movements of bodies in the solar system, right?
Well, let's see the model. How you got that?
Sorry?
You got that model? Let's see what model you're talking about.
Yeah, well, model is that.
I see it. Can you throw it in text chat? Let's take a look.
Throw what?
Let's take a look at that model you're talking about.
Yeah, model is that you have certain amount of bodies that.
Okay, show then tell. Let's see. Let's get it. Let's see it.
Post it in the chat so we can all look at it together with you.
It's a theory, right? It's a theory. So.
Oh no! Yeah, that doesn't work.
You don't believe in theories?
No.
Well, that's how science works. You build a theory that
I don't need to believe in things in order to prove things.
Well, you know, I don't want you to believe in things. I want to build a theory, and there is, well, in a certain way, it is a belief, right? But it's based in the fact that your theory explains what happens in nature, right? And you build this theory, and if you see that,
in order to have a ball flying around in a vacuum, you need to have the ball first.
Yes,
so that's what now you have to prove. Now you have to prove you live on a ball first.
No. That's what we assume.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we assume. It's a ball, right?
We don't assume. You need to prove that.
No, that's.
Yes.
No, that's not, I believe, how science works. You have a theory, you have certain observations, and if those observations are explained by the theory, and this theory agree with other theories that are built in the same way, well, then you take what you have, right? You take this theory.
If you stop it there, it will be just considered as pseudoscience because it's not the scientific method. If you just throw a theory and you don't have any experiment where you manipulate the independent variable that you just put it in the theory, because your theory, you will put the cause of the effect that you just observed in the natural realm. So you will put a theory where you will suggest a cause for that effect that you observed, and if you don't do an experiment where you show that it is really that cause that you just put it in the theory, where you can prove it in reality with the experiment. So it will just sit in the side of pseudoscience. It will not be considered as science. It will just be, if you don't make an if you agree, so you understand that all what you are basing your beliefs on is just pseudoscience, not science.
No.
There is no experiment. You said that you stop on putting a theory forward.
Let me explain. What happens is you do manipulate independent variables, right? You have observations. First, people observed that there are movements in nature, right? And then they build, based on those movements, theory of gravity, right? And then they observed even more movements, and those movements are your independent variable, right? And those movements were explained beforehand by the theory. That's why they said that, well, it's a good theory, well, let's work with this. Right? So
that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. So now it's just considered as pseudoscience. It's not even science, because they just put it forward a theory. There is no experiment there.
I just said that there are experiments. I just said it.
There is observation. What are the experiments done after they've put it the theory where they can prove their theory being correct?
I mean, I'm not sure if you can call it experiment, but there are observations of...
The observation is the first step. When you see something and you don't understand how it works, so you put forward the theory. So you see a pen. So the observation comes first. So you won't put a theory for gravity if you don't see something fall. So you have to observe things fall. That apple, you have to observe that apple falling on your head. Then, after the observation, you can think about the gravity. You won't think about gravity if you don't have any observations about falling things, because you don't even have the information that things can fall. You didn't observe that in the reality.
Correct. You don't have to repeat yourself. Correct.
That's
I agree.
That's why babies.
After you present theory, you have other observations, right? And I believe those observations can be taken as your independent variable, right? Because you didn't base your theory on those new observations.
No, that's not how it works.
Sorry?
It's not how it works.
So how it works?
You need to have an independent and a dependent variable. You don't have that
when you look independent variable. Define independent variable, because I believe
variable that you can manipulate to make the dependent variable change.
Well,
so you want to look at planets, so now you need to go and manipulate a planet to make sure that that's really what's happening.
What about this experiment where when you take this massive ball and you can manipulate mass, right? And you can measure gravity, right? You can measure force.
Oh, you can't measure gravity.
You can measure force, right? Between those balls, metal balls. No? Why you can't?
You tell me why you can't. Tell me the instrument you use to measure the force between two objects.
Well, you can measure acceleration, right?
What's the acceleration between my TV and me?
Well, it depends on the mass and on the distribution of mass, right?
We're about the same because it's a giant TV.
No, it's not the same. That's not what gravity does, right? But
that's why you're so confused. You don't really know anything about it. You're just repeating stuff.
No, I know I'm not a physicist, right? But I have scientific background, and I'm not repeating.
So you're a scientist.
I am repeating myself because you forced me to.
You're a scientist, right? Okay.
Sorry?
Does gravity hold water to the ground?
Sorry, once again, sorry. I'm sorry.
Does gravity hold water to the ground?
Yes.
It does? Oh.
Well,
so if I pour a glass of water, then gravity is keeping it in the cup?
Yeah. Well, if you pair it, then
hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
You said yes and yes.
Okay.
If I put my cup in my vacuum chamber that's now out in my garage because I've been using it. I put my cup of water in there and I remove all the air. The water turns to gas and leaves the vacuum chamber. How come gravity didn't hold it down?
Well, there is again. I'm not a physicist, but I believe what happens is that water evaporates, right?
Yeah. So there goes gravity. Oops, there goes gravity.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. But I'm not a physicist, but it is an interesting question.
I am.
You are a physicist?
Yeah, that's why I gave you that experiment.
Really? And you believe in flat Earth?
The Earth is flat. It's not a belief system. You can just go measure water. It's flat.
Okay. I mean, and by saying that you're a physicist, you're saying that you have PhD in physics and you published papers.
Oh, it just means I work in physics all day. You don't have to have a PhD to fucking use a vacuum chamber. Are you crazy?
Well, to say that's what I think as a physicist, right? If you're a physicist.
Well, let's see what a physicist says. Let's look in chat. Let's see what a physicist says.
Reasoning. You just don't know what science
says about gravity. Let's see what physicists say about gravity. I posted it in chat for you. There's no such thing as gravitational pull.
Yeah, it's a meme. It's a meme. It's a very not reliable source. It's a meme. Please don't do this.
No, that's from a video. We just took a
picture. If we have serious discussion, then please don't do this. You can.
Your brain is melting. You're starting to deny everything.
Is bullshit. If you have serious discussion, put reliable source. Video is okay, right? Video of him saying this is okay.
Reliable source. So if we don't put someone from your side, it won't be a reliable source. It feels like I'm talking to a Muslim who's just telling me if you don't put forward a verse from the Quran, I won't consider that. So if you just give him anything from anywhere, from reality even, he won't accept it. He wants something from their side. The people who are just in the other side, the opponents. No, we are not in the same side. Okay, our scientists are not yours, and our physicists are not yours. You can share ideas, common ideas, yeah, but we don't have the same opinion about everything.
That's okay.
Like a Muslim and a Christian, they can share the same names of the prophets, the older prophets. So you can have Noah in both religions, but they are not the same religion. So your scientists, your PhD people, your pseudoscientists are not ours. So you are trying to find something from your side that will just tell you, like Einstein or Newton or someone from your side, that will just tell you, oh, the flat is Earth, the Earth is flat, I just lied or something like that. No. We put forward our science, the real science, and when we talk about science, We use the scientific method. So you come forward with your ideas and you prove your ideas in reality.
Can I say something now? Sorry, because I'm losing voice. By reliable source, I just meant because he posted a meme of Mikio Kaku saying something. And
the reliable source, it means someone who got
let me finish.
Got his degree in schools and universities that teach globe Earth. No. I'm just correcting you. You want reliable source or something from someone who just studied. No. You want a reliable source. It means something official. Someone who studied in your global schools.
Come on, guy. Don't. Well, I'm not.
What is the reliable source for you? Because I want to understand that. Because you ask for PhD from schools and universities that is indoctrinating the globe Earth.
Who's moderator here? We really need moderator, because I'm not going to talk over you.
No, don't talk over me. I won't talk over you. So just tell me. Tell me what are the no. Just don't derive from the subject. Tell me what are the reliable sources for you, and what is reliable PhD for you? Is it? Do you ask for something?
Listen. I can tell you. Just listen.
Okay, go ahead.
Please don't interrupt me this time, because I'm not used to talk.
Go ahead.
So by reliable source, I just meant because he posted meme of Mikio Kaku, right? And and it's not. I just want source.
Question. I have a question. I have a question.
No.
Now I'm
talking.
No. I have a question. Is Michio Kaku? I have a question about your fucking subject that you're talking about. Is Michio Kaku a flat earther?
So by reliable source, I just meant
Is Michio Kaku a flat earther?
And
no.
No,
the answer is just no. The answer is just yes or no. Is Michio Kaku
I don't know
flat earther or globe earth? Is he supporting a flat earth cosmology or a globe earth cosmology?
Well, I believe that he's from mainstream academics, so he shouldn't be flat earth.
Okay, so you want us to ask Michio Kaku to say something about the flat earth, and we give it to you just to make you consider it as a reliable source. Because we can't ask flat earthers, because they are not reliable sources for you. We have to we have to give you citations from globe earthers.
We really need moderator.
Okay, you ready? I posted the source for you.
Okay.
He's talking live, so you can watch him say it instead of me just taking a picture of it and posting his quote.
That's the only thing I wanted, right? As long as flat earth physicists are doing a good job, they are reliable sources for me. Just to make it clear, okay? I'm not saying that physicists that agree with flat earth are not reliable source. They are, as long as they follow scientific method, whatever that means, right?
You can only follow a scientific method. Globe earthers do not follow a scientific method.
Well, they do.
Do you know that what you said is just nonsense, complete nonsense? What are the flat earthers physicists for you? Explain to me that word. I want to know that title, flat earther physicist. What that mean for you?
Well, I just used a term that you used.
No. Tell me what that shit mean for you. You use the term, but
yes.
I don't want to just believe that you use a term that you don't even understand. So you use the term that I guess that you understand. So what are flat earther physicists for you? Physicists who go to PhD from flat Earth schools or what? What are the flat Earth physicists for you?
Let me explain. Okay.
Yeah, explain it to me.
Yeah. By flat Earth physicist, I just mean physicists that build theory in which assumption of Earth being flat is built into theory. Right. That's all I mean.
Okay. Right. Okay, but you said that you have some sort of basics that you need in those flat Earth physicists, because you said that it must be a PhD. He must have a PhD and he must publish a paper.
I never said it.
It means that the paper must be agreed upon by a globe Earth community. So you're saying that the paper must go against you, and you agree that you were debunked. That's complete nonsense. You ask for something just nonsense.
Let me explain. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because I come from mainstream academics, right? So for me, physicist is someone who has PhD and publishes papers, but this would obviously didn't, because mainstream physics assumes that Earth is a globe, right?
So I understood that.
Yeah. So
I understand that for you.
I'm sorry for. Yeah. Well.
No. Trust me.
Don't need PhD. Okay.
Trust me, brother. I understand that for you, a physicist started to exist in the latest centuries, where they created the PhDs and those scientific methods. But people who studied nature and studied how things works in nature before that, in ancient world, in ancient people. So those were they were not physicists or scientists or people who studied the reality. It's not considered for you, so we won't consider their what they say as something reliable, like Eratosthenes. It wasn't a physicist or even scientist, or even someone who studied something like that. So we won't even consider what he could say or talk about.
Yes, I agree. My definition of physicist is not inclusive enough. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. Right. Anything else? But
so you have just to understand that we are opposite sides.
Yes,
we share the same studies. We study the same things because we live in the same reality. But just I won't say you, but some people don't use the scientific method as it should be used. They stop in some steps because they can't just continue, that they are not able to continue fully the scientific method till the experiment and proving their hypothesis. So they throw some hypothesis. Oh, the unicorn is just pulling the shade. So you won't be able. It's just they will tell you it's just an invisible unicorn that is pulling the things. It's just his theory. You can't debunk it because you can't prove that his unicorn doesn't exist. So it's because something negative can't be just proved. It's just nonsense. You accept some things that are not logic. Gravity is that unicorn.
Okay.
That pulls things to the ground. So he put it a fantasy without proving it. You can accept it.
Well, I think we use scientific method.
No, but show me
Okay, all right, hold on. Getting back to your scientific method. What holds water in the cup?
Well, you already the same story.
Say it. Air pressure. Say air pressure. When I remove the air pressure, the water is no longer water. It goes away.
Well, air pressure does for sure contribute.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed was its air pressure for sure.
But no, what I say that it contributes to it, right?
No, oh no, gravity has nothing to do with it. I didn't use gravity for anything.
Yeah, but have you calculated it? What's the air pressure?
Yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah, what's the air pressure force that holds this water?
14.7 psi, approximately.
PSI. That's you should.
Yeah, that's the air you breathe. That's the air you breathe. If you don't have that, you start getting all wacky.
I mean, force is measured in newtons, so you should use newtons, right? Not PSI.
I don't need to. That's made up shit.
Newtons are made up.
I don't need to use that. I don't need to use that to show you air pressure is what held held water in the cup.
So sorry. What is made up?
You needing me to use newtons for fucking water in a cup.
No, he wanted to use newtons to measure the pressure. So do you use newtons to measure the pressure in your tire when you go to the station? Huh? Or PSI? Do you use Newton to measure the pressure inside the container of gas that you use to like fire in your home using newtons or PSI?
Well, it depends on your purpose, right?
The purpose is to measure the pressure.
Well, I just asked about force. Right? I asked about force.
Force? What force? What force are you talking about? We were talking about the pressure that is exerted, the pressure, the force. The pressure, the force of the gas molecules exerts on the surface of water, which is in the cup. So it is a force, the gas pressure. They didn't know that the gas pressure, the definition of gas pressure is the force exerted by the gas molecules. The gas, I'm giving you the definition. Now I'm giving you the definition that you can find if you make a little research that you never did in your life to research what is gas pressure. It's the force exerted by the gas molecules on the walls of a container. So now, when you have a cup of water, when you have the cup of water, the surface of the water is considered as a lower part of that container. So the gas molecules are exerting force on the surface of the water. And if you take out that gas, if you put that cup of water inside a vacuum chamber and you activate the vacuum and you pull out the gas, you will see the water turn to gas. It will just start to boil.
Yeah,
it won't sit on that cup.
Well, to be precise, pressure is force over force divided by surface on which the force.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's force. Yeah. We explained to you the shit about the force. So now you agree with this.
Of the container. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, correct. It's force. Force. Yeah. You didn't know that.
No, pressure is not force.
Yeah, it's force.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about?
It is.
Dude, you ever heard of pneumatic controls using air pressure to control
basics? This is basic high school physics. Pressure.
Yeah, I'm giving you 6th grade physics.
Can you read what is the definition of gas pressure, please?
Let me Google it.
Yeah, go ahead. You haven't done that yet? Oh.
He said he was a scientist. He said he has a scientific background and he doesn't know any of this.
No, I passed high school physics, right? I also passed 1 year of theoretical physics on college, so I should know something about physics.
And sure. You don't. Isn't that amazing? You should. Maybe. You said you should know this stuff, but you don't.
Well, let me Google what is gas pressure. Okay, maybe I remember incorrectly. Right, that's possible. Sorry for if I do.
He gave you the definition already, but you didn't want to listen to it.
Well, you said you gave me just intuitive definition, right? I need formula.
From an AI? You need it from an AI?
Yeah, I need formula. What is formula for gas, for pressure, right? As I said, it's a force divided by the area. Okay,
so it's force.
Yeah, no,
okay, it's a force. It's a force. No, it's a force. You said it's divided. Divided, it means that it's you are using math. You divide something by the area. It's a number. You will just divide the number, which is the force, by the area.
So you turn the area to. It is not force. I'm sorry, guys, but if you're lacking in this kind of basics,
FORCE.
Then I'm not sure why we are talking about.
It's a force.
Stuff like scientific methods, right?
So you don't understand what is a force?
I do actually, but
so it's a force.
You don't. Right?
So it is a force.
It's not.
It is a force.
If you divide it, I'm sorry, but I feel like I'm a teacher in high school trying to explain.
It's not teaching anything. You're getting schooled in here right now.
It's a force divided by area, so it's not a force.
Oh, there you go. It's a force.
So you don't understand what that means. Force divided by the area. You don't understand that. So I will explain it to you simply in just gas in a container. So the area is the volume of the inside of the container.
No, area is not the volume.
Till the walls
area,
of that container. Till the walls of that container. So the force divided by the area. So it means the force that is exerted by those molecules against all the walls of that container. So it still means that there is a force, a partial force, put it on the side of the container, the bottom of the container, the top of the container. So there is force exerted on all the walls of that container. That's why the definition of the gas means the force. I'm reading it to you from Google. Gas pressure is the name given to the force exerted by gas particles colliding with the wall of their container. No. I will explain. Yeah. I will read it for you again. The definition. You don't have to understand what is the definition. The definition is what that word means. So it means the gas pressure, those two words, gas pressure, it means the name given to the force. The name given to the force. It doesn't matter for me if you don't speak English. I don't understand English. You used some word to talk English, so you have to use the same capacity to understand what I'm saying now. So it's the name given to the force exerted by the gas particles colliding with the wall of their container. Now, what will happen is just your cognitive dissonance telling you what to say to just help or defend your belief. Because you won't accept that it's a force, because you believed in your mind it wasn't.
Okay, never mind.
So now it's academia. It's a reliable source. It's academia. It's from all the scientists in the entire world.
Okay.
They agree upon this shit. The gas pressure is the force exerted by the gas molecules upon the walls of the container.
Okay.
So it means that you're wrong. Can you just say it and say sorry, I'm wrong, and we will just move on.
Let's move on.
No.
Say you're sorry that
you're wrong.
I'm sorry. Right? I'm sorry.
Let's move on. There's no.
You're not going to go around teaching people other than what we told you, right?
What do you mean? I'm not going to teach people.
You're going to repeat from now on that gas pressure is a force, right?
Well, it's not, but let's move on.
What the fuck, dude?
Well, you have clearly definition. Force is measured in newtons. Pressure is measured in newtons over square meters, according to
square inch. How we measure air pressure, psi, or a couple different.
Yeah, ways. In America you do that, but
we use psi. Yeah, we don't worry about dumb shit.
Pressure is measured in pascals, right?
You went to the gas station and you asked him for some
sure.
of air. What the fuck is he going to look at you and say? What the fuck, dude?
In America, that's what. In America, yes.
Air pressure.
In America, yes. Everything else they measure in pascals, in hectopascals, right? But it doesn't matter, right? Because I mean, this is pointless discussion, really. Let's assume that it's a force, right? It's a bit of simplification, but I can agree it's a force.
That it is. Don't.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, but I need to go for a bit for 2-3 minutes.
Get your brain figured out.
Yeah, I'm really losing my voice, so I need a tea. But I'll be right back.
He was busy typing in chat while you were explaining it to him.
No, I'm used.
That fucks them up every time I put a cup of water in a vacuum chamber. It just makes their head spin.
Now on, when the Globers will ask for a model, I will just tell them, go take a cup of water. That's a model for the flat surface of the water. That's a model of gas pressure on the surface of water.
Yep, that's all you have to use. It's been ruining them for about 6 months. Well, longer than that. I've been doing it a long time, but I did it live in here 3 times and they fucking had a meltdown. I asked AI to give me the volume of Earth's atmosphere and it crashed. I asked it 4 times and it cannot complete the calculations.
Shouldn't it be infinity?
It showed how it should. It explained how it would do its calculations and it couldn't do it. was watching it. I'm like, okay, keep going, and then it crashed. Network error. Then I did it again, near the same spot. Network error. Did it again on a different one. Network error.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't have a container.
That's right.
All right, I'm back. But it's a really fun discussion with you guys.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun for us, really, because we like letting globers' minds melt, and then once they start melting, then they realize they've been lied to the whole time.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Well, I enjoy discussions like this, right? And if you can prove me wrong, then I will gladly.
I proved you wrong.
I gladly say that I'm wrong.
I proved that it wasn't gravity holding water in the cup. I proved you wrong.
Yeah. But I'm not a physicist, right? So
doesn't matter. Third graders.
Does that mean you can't be proven wrong?
Do that. Yeah.
No. It means that
hey. Are you going to say that anytime someone presents something to you that, well, I'm not a physicist, so.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Okay, so then nothing can be falsifiable in your mind. That's not scientific.
Well, I believe in a certain theory, right? And I can't verify it on my own because it's a complicated theory, right? But I believe that, yeah, it's a belief, right?
Yep, it's only a belief you have.
Well, yeah, but we can still have a discussion, right? Even though I'm not a physicist, I will do my best to explain, right? I had high school physics, right? So certain things I can explain.
Balloons up in high school and let them fly around. Yeah, everybody's done that. Blow up a balloon, let it fly around on a straw.
And what about this balloon?
Everybody's done your physics. Doesn't prove a globe. Physics doesn't prove globes anyway.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Why do you assume that it's flat, right? If you can't
because
prove that
water is flat and level everywhere you look. That's why.
Oh, that's interesting point. Yeah, that actually would explain it. Yes, I mean I agree that Earth is locally flat, right? But it's locally.
So where does it start curving at? Where does local end?
Well, there is no end and there is no beginning, right? You just approximate it, right?
Okay, what's the approximation where locally stops?
Well, it doesn't stop.
So it's all flat.
It's no. It's kind of continuous, right? It just that if you, so let's say that take a point on Earth, right? Take take a circle of radius r, right? And if your radius is very big, then your approximation will be very bad, right? But if your radius is very, at least assuming that Earth is ideally a sphere, right? If your radius is very small, then your approximation will be very, very small, right? And if r tends to 0, then your approximation tends to ideal approximation, right? That's how kind of continuous approximations work. So it doesn't end, doesn't stop.
So Earth is flat locally. So no matter where I go, it's flat. So if I made 5 billion of myself and we all held hands, we'd all have flat and we'd all be able to just be on the same flat plane. You're right. It's all flat.
If you have 5 billion people, right, in different points distributed uniformly over Earth, then every person will say that that what he sees is flat, right? And I believe that's where this belief of flat Earth comes from. Yeah, and probably because
it's measured. It's measured flat. It's measured. It's not a belief. It's measured flat.
But there's a gap in reasoning between saying that everyone on Earth saying that it's flat and overall it's flat. There's a gap in reasoning. Right, and I don't see how you feel this gap.
You watching space movies, that's where the gap comes in. You watch space movies, you believe in NASA, you believe in SpaceX.
Okay. So
for
how
all
do you feel
beliefs of yours. You think Star Trek is going to be real one day? You think we're going to go fly around the planets because you believe in flying the planets?
Okay, how do you fill this gap, right? Of how do you reason from
you get rid of your belief system. You get rid of your belief system. That's how you start. You get rid of your belief system and you start from there.
Okay.
Yeah, they can show us evidence and we can stop distrusting them.
Okay. Sorry, I have to present evidence for something?
You have the burden.
No. What I'm asking to because I agree that locally it's approximable, but something that is flat, right? 5 billion people everyone will say that it's flat, right? So locally it's flat. I agree, at least approximately flat. If Earth is an ideal sphere, right? But there's gap in reasoning between saying that those 5 billion people locally have flat Earth and globally it's flat.
You just said a sphere is flat.
Sorry?
You just said a sphere is flat in so many words.
Locally, sphere is flat.
Dude, you're starting to regress into like I don't know. You're starting to lose everything you thought you ever learned. Spheres are not flat.
They are locally flat.
I don't think he's aware of the geometric nuance, but you can have a two-dimensional surface of a sphere that is flat because you can calculate the area by length and width, but you get an irrational number.
Yes, you can have two-dimensional surfaces that are flat. Well, surface by definition
all two-dimensional surfaces are flat, dickhead.
Sorry?
All two-dimensional surfaces are flat.
Yes, by definition. Exactly. Right? And sphere is example of two-dimensional object, two-dimensional manifold, right? And it's a surface. By definition, it's locally flat. And by locally flat, it just means that it can be approximated by something that is ideally flat, right? But it can be only approximated. It doesn't mean that it is flat, right?
In a very small piece of the sphere, I guess. But no, a sphere is not flat.
You've measured water, it's flat. So now what do? Now the Earth is 70% flat and the rest is curved?
No, that's not what I mean. Right. I just meant that there is gap in reasoning between saying that
your reasoning gap.
Well, I never presented any reasoning, right? I just reasoned that
you said it's locally flat. I said how far is that locally? Where does it go to? Well, it's an approximation. Okay, approximate for me how far it's locally flat until it starts curving. You said it's flat everywhere. Then you said it's flat everywhere. Then you said it's a ball, but it's flat. It's a flat ball.
I understand that these notions are complex, and I just explained to you what local means.
Right? It is me, the chosen one.
Shut up, bitch.
Fucking LA sucks, man.
Is this guy round or flat? He's round.
So I don't know. Where is Ego Slave? Is he here?
Knows.
No, he left a little bit ago. He told you he was leaving too.
Yeah, but yeah, he left, but then he came back, and he left, and he came back. So can you present this reasoning for flat Earth or flat Earth? Also, you can't prove
it. Measured flat, and you agreed.
I agreed that it's locally flat.
You agreed, and then you stopped agreeing.
No, I never agreed. I agreed that it's locally flat.
Is water measured flat and level?
What?
Oh my God. You already answered yes to this. Is water flat and level?
it's locally flat. I agree, but and what you measure has some
when does
error.
it start curving?
I just explained it to you, right? Do you remember?
Okay, explain to me when it starts curving, so I can go measure that and prove you right.
It never starts curving, and it never stops curving. Okay.
What?
Oh wow, dude, you are in contest like you wouldn't believe. You hold two belief systems at the same time.
No, it just okay. I mean, I can repeat myself, right?
Well, maybe you should elaborate on it instead of saying the same thing over again. It never starts and it never stops. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe you can explain yourself.
So, what do you define? What do you mean by curve? What do you mean by curvature? Let's start with this.
I don't even understand.
Hold a basketball in your hand, and then look at it.
No, I need a rigorous. I need a rigorous definition.
Is the surface curved on a basketball?
I need a rigorous, measurable definition.
I'll tell you how to measure it. Is a surface curved on a basketball or a baseball or any kind of ball? Is it surface curved?
No, that's not definition by far.
Holy shit! No,
what do you measure? What do you measure? Curvature should be quantifiable. It needs to be quantity.
I can't do anything unless you answer a question with yes.
What question?
You repeat back what I asked you.
If you see a curve on ball, is that your question?
It seems like you don't know what a curve is. I don't understand.
Me?
Yeah, you don't know what curvature is?
Well, I know. I could define curvature, okay? And curvature is defined in mathematics.
How about we just define it as not flat?
What is flat?
Flat, like horizontal.
Zero slope, flat.
What is a slope? Slope is only in in 2 dimensions, right? You can define slope only of a linear function, right? You can't even define slope if there is some non-linearity there. So it really doesn't apply.
Slope of a hill.
Your mind is scrambled.
Why does it matter? Why does it even matter?
Well, you need rigorous definitions, right? If you want to have, if you want to,
you're being pedantic.
Sorry.
You're being pedantic.
Yeah, you don't.
Well, yes, I'm being just rigorous. I'm just being rigorous.
When they're saying slope, they mean they're using an exponential curve to approximate the supposed curvature.
What? They use exponential curve to. I'm sorry, but
yeah, to approximate, it's accurate to within like less than 1%.
I'm sorry, but they use exponential curve to approximate curvature?
No.
Yeah, so take a circle, right?
Yes.
And then take a quarter of the circle.
Yes.
A quarter of a circle is half of an exponential curve.
What is an exponential?
Approximately.
What is an exponential curve for you?
He's just going to have you define everything from now on because he knows that the water in the cup fucked him up.
Well, I agree that it fucked me up, and it's interesting. It's an interesting question, interesting problem, right? And I would have to think about it, right? I would have to go back to what I learned in high school and think about it. How it can be explained using gravity, but I'm sure it can be explained, right? People are much smarter than me, and if it couldn't be explained, then surely we would know by now that it couldn't be explained. Someone send a picture.
What did Michio Kaku say in the video I sent you?
I haven't watched, but I would have to watch. I didn't have time because I was talking to you. It's hard to.
Yeah, so it's a 1-minute video, and
okay, I can watch it now.
He's our hostile witness. He's your Glober. He's your Glober that says there's no such thing as gravitational pull.
Okay, I'm watching it right now.
What about Michio Kaku when he cries?
Let's not derail yet.
No, I'm just saying he says the same thing. It's not derailing. Same exact thing. Just saying that's two physicists that cry about stuff that ain't the way they wanted it to be. What's
oh yeah, I just watched. I mean, I watched the first 50 seconds, and he does say that gravity is a lie, which is funny.
I mean, so now from now on, you never have to worry about gravity again. You don't have to worry about it moving things around because gravity is not a force, so it doesn't move things around, right?
I mean, what he says exactly that the gravitational pull is a lie, right? That's what he exactly.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Yes, and but what he
so when
what
I
he
asked you, is gravity pulled to the ground, or does gravity keep water on the ground? Is it pulled to the ground? You said yes, and now we know that it's a lie.
Well, let me explain it. What I believe he refers to, because you know we have this theory by Newton of gravity, and it says that there is gravitational pull.
And his pantaloons
let me
running
explain,
around with
okay?
a feather in his
Please don't interrupt me. We have this theory, but then came Einstein with different theory of gravity, which says that we live in 4-dimensional space, and gravity is.
We live in 3-dimensional space.
4. There's time space, time dimension, right? He says that we live in 4-dimensional space, and the gravity.
We live in 3 dimensions.
There are 4. What gravity really does.
We live in 3 dimensions.
We live in 4. I'm sorry, but there's time, right? And it's really. I mean, unless you don't believe in time, but.
A man-made concept is now a 4th dimension.
Yeah. So anyway, we live in some dimensional space, and what gravity does. There is no gravitational pull. Gravity just deforms this space, right? And what happens? Somehow this deformation of space causes acceleration, right? But again, I'm not a physicist. I mean, I read Theory of Gravity, my basic textbook for college. But
and they were wrong.
Why?
Because I said so.
Okay, that's not really a reliable source.
Does gravity pull things to the ground?
Yes.
You are a fucking retard.
Okay, that's not a serious discussion.
Neither is you giggling saying dumb shit.
Simplifying, it pulls down, right? But if you don't want to simplify, then it doesn't.
And your reliable sources say that no, it doesn't pull.
Yeah, if you don't want to simplify, then you have to go into the theory of relativity, right? And this theory
there is no simplification in pulling and pushing. They both are simple. To say that gravity, it pushes you from above, a kid will accept that, like when you say to him that gravity pull you from down, from below. It's the same shit. It's not difficult. It's not to simplify. It's just above, down, pull, push.
And if it's not happening, what are you simplifying? Nothing.
Let me simplify it for you. Ready? The air pressure was pushing down on the water, keeping it in the cup. Now, do you get it?
Okay, I mean, it's one explanation for sure. Right? And I agree with this explanation.
Dude, it's not an explanation. I have a vacuum chamber and I can prove it to you. I don't need to prove it an explanation. I can just show you facts that the air pressure is pressing down on the water.
Okay, but you when you do this experiment, you can't observe air pressure pushing, right? Because air pressure is just.
He observe it because when he takes out the air pressure from above the water will just start boil. And we didn't pull the gravity with the air. Also, don't tell me that when we activate a vacuum, we are just pulling gravity with the gas. No, it's just the gas. We are taking out the gas, so you will see the water start boiling. It's not one of multiple things, but it's just the thing. It's the reason why you have a cup of water where the water is sitting on the cup, not going anywhere. But when you take out that gas,
question for you. I have one more question for you. You ready?
For me?
Does gravity pull things to the ground?
Yes.
You're a fucking retard.
I'm sorry. Well, maybe I am. Different question. So, assuming that your explanation is right, that air pressure or force of air pushes down water in a cup, and that's why water stays in a cup. Assuming that that's right, if you take out air, there is no air pressure, so shouldn't water behave in this way that it doesn't start to boil, but it just floats? Why it doesn't float? That's my question.
Float?
Yes, float. Because apparently there's no. I mean, logically, if it is a force of air that pushes down water, then there is nothing to push water down, so water should float, right?
Yeah, it turns into gas and floats.
It turns in gas and it floats away.
But why does it turn?
It floats all over the vacuum chamber.
Yeah, but
it's outside of the vacuum chamber too, because it's still pulling that gas water.
The entire vacuum chamber.
It sucks that out too. It sucks it till it's dry inside the vacuum chamber. Then it's completely dry, not little bits of water left.
But why it doesn't float immediately? Why it have to first boil, then to float? Why it can't float
within about 15 seconds? It starts.
But so what? This lack of
it doesn't float because there is no gas. There is no gas around that water to keep a shape. So when you take out the gas on the water, because water is composed from hydrogen and oxygen, that's what they say. So that gas just start to go away because there is nothing to press on it to turn it to that liquid form.
Yeah, but
so why if you just use your brain for just 10 seconds to make the water float like you imagine it, like they show you in ISS that sphere of water just floating, that's air pushing on the sides of that sphere. Even if we consider it that if you want to see that, you will have to have air around the sphere to condense the molecules toward themselves to make for you that liquid form. But if there is nothing to condense, to push against those molecules to condense them to make that liquid form, those molecules will just float, like disperse. That's physics.
Okay.
That your physicists had to explain to you.
Let me propose an experiment. Okay. Listen carefully. So let's say that you are in a plane and you are in a free fall. You know what is a free fall? When you climb very high in a plane and this plane just engine stops, right? And there are no forces coming from plane that would provide any force, right? Any acceleration, right? In such a state, relative to the space of this plane, everything floats, right? So your water can float, right? And if you take container without air and let's say container with air, right? In this free float. And in this container, you have a blob of water, which is obviously not contained in a cup. It floats, and you take out air pressure, right? Water starts to boil.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Because you took out the pressure from around the water.
Yeah, but I mean, there is no. Well, water should float upwards, right? If you take out air pressure.
You mean when it starts boiling? Oh yeah, I guess it attempts to, but it turns into gas and leaves the vacuum chamber.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't understand that.
Maybe it was a stupid example. Maybe I didn't explain it right.
Listen, guess what? No matter what example you give to us, no matter what example you give to us, it's going to break down to a stupid example because you're not going to be able to defeat what I gave you, water in a cup. Nobody's ever been able to defeat that argument, ever.
But have you talked with physicists?
Yeah, we talked to them all. I work with fucking physicists.
Who are you working with?
I'm not telling you where I fucking work, dude.
Oh, you don't need to give me names. Just if you're working with, because
I'm not telling you where or how I work.
Okay,
I work with your mom, and it's good physics.
Yeah, great. Well, good to hear that we have good discussion.
No, but tell me now. So you understand how it works with water when you take out the gas, that the water just start to float. When it turns to gas, that's the composition of the water, which couldn't find anything to make the pressure on the top of it, so it start to go up and sideways and everywhere because it turned those gas molecules start to find volume where they can disperse. You could understand that, didn't you? Because
I understand
do you understand that what you are asking for, seeing water float, the liquid form of those gas bounded gas molecules between them, you want to see it float first, then they start to boil. But to start to float, it has to have something to make pressure around it.
Yeah, I understand your point of view. Yes,
like in that plane where you have that water inside the bottle in free fall. It was the gas inside the bottle that exerts the pressure around that water to make it just float inside the bottle.
Yeah, suck the air out of that bottle that has the water in it floating around, and tell me what happens to the water. It turns into gas, and it no longer is a ball.
Yeah, I understand your point of view.
So basically, it all comes down to air pressure, huh?
Well, if that's your theory, then yes, you can propose different
theory. I've already done this. It's not a theory.
Well, no.
a theory.
Well, it does.
That's the reality that we are talking about now. It's not even a theory. That's that's the thing that we are trying to explain to you.
Yeah, it explains this experiment, right? At least right now, I can't find what would be wrong with this explanation, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good question, by the way.
Yeah, it's nobody's been able to defeat it yet. Nobody.
I mean, nobody is really, because you said that you asked physicists, right? These are really.
This is streamed all the time, 24/7. I talk about this all the time. Nobody from NASA has come in to defeat me. Nobody from SpaceX. Nobody from the secret Russian military that does secret projects. Nobody's coming here to defeat me yet.
I don't believe it. I really find it hard to believe because
go find somebody and bring them in here.
Well, I met some of those guys and they are really smart.
Except they can't defeat that argument.
Well, I'm pretty sure I would be able to defeat it, but okay.
Right, get on it, son. Get on defeating me like everybody else has never come back. When they said, I'll be back, never come back. Never.
I know.
Okay, well, I will think about it because it's actually interesting. Not sure if I will have time, but I will put a note somewhere and think about it. And if you're on this, if you are on the server, then maybe I could add you to friends and.
Everybody that's a flat earther knows the argument.
Oh, okay, then that's fine.
Yeah, come back after you defeat it. Be sure to come back and rub it in our face.
Yeah, okay.
You know, just like you should also like look at a ball one day too, and then while you're doing it, just take a look at how a ball looks and works.
Well, he wasn't sure if a ball has curve or not. He couldn't answer that question.
Well, no,
I'm a ball in your hand. Is a ball curved? I don't know what that means. I have to get a calculator.
No, I'm sure that ball has curve, but you have to define what curvature is, and you couldn't define it, right? What? Yeah, exactly. You can't define what curvature is.
Equal distance.
An arc line.
It's not that he couldn't define what curvature is. It's that you couldn't grasp what the definition of curvature is.
No, I can define.
It's an arc line. An arc. You know what an arc is in your doorway, right? The doorway fucking arc, like an arced line. It's not a horizontal line. It's an arced line. You understand that, like a smiley face or a frown.
Arc is one-dimensional object, right? We are talking about 2 dimensions.
A smiley face and a frown. Do you understand?
Okay, fine.
Again,
go peel an orange, and take part of the orange peel.
Arc is one-dimensional object. We are talking about
curved lines and flat lines or straight lines, curved lines or straight lines. It's applicable on 2-dimensional objects, on lines and on surfaces. So just stop. You're just demonstrating how ignorant you are about the things. Curved and flat, or curved and straight.
Let me tell you,
it is applied on lines, on 2-dimensional objects, and on surfaces, because the surface is a 2-dimensional plane.
Okay,
so we are talking about the surface. We are talking about the surface, ignoring the topography. We're talking about the surface being not curved. So it means zero curvature. It means that it is a flat surface. Its surface, which is not curving, is just a flat surface. You don't have any third choice. It's about the surfaces. We talk about the surface. It doesn't matter if you don't grasp it or you don't understand what we are talking about. But if you're searching for something, if you ask for the thought being flat, or if you want to something else being flat, or the definition of something else being flat, we are talking about what the topic, the earth, the surface of the earth being flat.
Can I say something?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
You want to talk about the three-dimensional object, the shapes? We are not talking about shapes here. We are talking about surfaces. No, wait. Till you tell me first that you understand the main topic of the server, of the channel. Its name is flat Earth. Flat, it's not a three-dimensional description. It's a two-dimensional description for surfaces. Do you understand that? Yes. Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
You don't understand that we talk about now two-dimensional surface. So yes. What you are asking for is something just nonsense, complete nonsense. You are asking for a flat, three-dimensional object that doesn't exist. It can't be. Just impossible. Can you imagine that? A flat, three-dimensional
object. Can I say something? Because you are talking and you can't.
Go ahead.
Don't let me say something. So please don't interrupt me. First, I have a question. Why do you say that I'm talking about three-dimensional objects?
Because you said it. It's live on YouTube. I can clip it if you want.
I said what?
You said it. You said that flat. You said that the absence of slope or the absence of curvature. We are talking about two-dimensional. It's just applied on two-dimensional view. That's what we talk about. We are talking about the two-dimensional surface. Even if it's not agreeing with what you were misunderstanding, it's what we are talking about. The two-dimensional, it's applicable on two-dimensional things.
Yes, and
so if you have a problem with that, you have to just see a doctor if you want.
Okay.
It's not our problem if you have a problem with
two-dimensional. Right, I am talking about two-dimensional surfaces, and not three-dimensional, two-dimensional, right? And so let me tell you that this claim that you can define curvature using one-dimensional objects, which are arcs, is not true because
we use surfaces. Sorry? You don't understand that we use surfaces.
Yeah.
The curving surface and the flat surface.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. And there are surfaces.
Curvature, it's a surface that have a rate of slope. So it means that it drops from the horizontal.
Slope. Curvature doesn't have slope.
Yeah, it has a slope. It drops from the horizontal. Do you have? Can you just go and see your Earth curvature calculators? It shows, it calculates for you the rate of the drop over the horizontal.
I posted him a simplified picture of the Earth curving down away from the guy looking straight forward.
Better question is why is my mother being such a bitch?
For fuck's sake.
That's what you mean by slope. Okay.
So, let's drop over distance. Let me fucking finish, dudes.
Okay.
Let's drop over distance, okay? Do you get that part? You understand that part?
I understand that part, yeah.
Okay, now, in reality, what we see is this. No drop over distance.
Well, it's within error. There is error to measurement.
You're just throwing in unicorns again.
No, I'm just using scientific method. There is measurement and there is error.
All right. Let me see you do scientific method to prove that. Use a scientific method to prove the Earth curve.
Well, I don't have argument right now.
There isn't one. It's called geometry.
But you don't have argument for flat Earth.
Yeah, it's called trigonometry.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, but this was fun discussion, but repeating myself over and over again is no longer fun, right?
There you go, celestial navigation.
That's correct. I can't disagree with what you just said. Repeating nonsense non-stop is just not fun at all.
Yes, I agree.
You just prove to yourself that you are completely ignorant about anything that you just spell from your mouth, and it shames you because you are talking live on YouTube.
So instead of elaborating on this, just continuing on like that, let's just ask him directly. What reason do I have to doubt that the Earth is flat?
Well, you need argument for this, right?
I need an argument for the Earth to not be curved. Like, wait, what?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You just woke up from a coma. You just woke up from a coma, and Charles is going to now ask you this question. You don't know anything about anything except you know how to think and talk. You don't know anything about the Earth. Charles, ask the question.
And I can use against you now the simplest proof, for example, because I won't just lose energy with you. Now I understood what kind of person you are. So just go out to the beach. You have beaches near where you live.
They don't.
So it was a question. You don't have any beaches near where you live? So
they don't.
You say they. You're talking about you or some?
I mean, I don't. Sorry, I don't.
Okay. So if someday you have the opportunity to go to a beach and watch the horizon, or even do you have any big lakes or dams where the edges of the lake or the dam are beyond your visibility? You have something like that?
Unfortunately, I don't have something like this.
Okay, the moment of the day, if you have that open view to water, on the surface of water, like
he's never going to be able to do this. He's never going to be able to do it. He doesn't live near water. He doesn't really know what water is. He only knows that air pressure keeps it down in a cup now at this point. Doesn't know that it lays flat. He doesn't know that people use water levels in construction. The water is very vague to this physics professor.
I'm not a professor and I'm not a physics, but I have some understanding of science, yes.
Yeah, so you can understand what he said, that water is used to establish a level.
Yes.
Okay, so you understand that the surface of water, bodies of water at rest is taking a horizontal or flat shape, flat surface. Sorry.
Being pushed down by air pressure. Don't forget that part.
Okay. Okay.
Because, like, for example, here's a proof. You can pour water in a cup, and you can observe the surface of water being perfectly flat. You can do the same shit into a bigger container, so bucket. You can observe the same thing. The tub of your bathroom, you observe the same thing. In a pool, you observe the same thing. In a lake, you will observe the same thing. Can you show me? Can you prove to me that you can have water curving on the surface of a ball, covering entire 71% of ball? Because I understand that you can't prove the.
You can have something like this, yes.
No, you can't. Does gravity pull water to the ground?
Yes.
You are a fucking retard. I've asked you this 3 times. We tell you 3 times no, and you agree that it doesn't, and yet you keep going back.
But no, I said that simplified view is that yes, it pulls down. Not simplified view is that there is really 4-dimensional space and gravity is created by deformation in the space. Right?
Is the Ratman still yelling like a little bitch? Damn, calm down, dude. Grow a pair.
That's something that you can't prove at all, because like we showed you, when we just take out why we hypothesize being the cause of what makes just make the water sit on the cup is just air. We showed you that, and we agreed that the water will just go away. So if you put that cup of water on the top of a scale, you will even measure the weight will just drop gradiently till you have nothing, because the water won't be able to sit on inside the cup, because there is nothing else to keep it on the cup.
Yeah, well, okay, I agree with you.
The only thing that we're keeping the water on the cup, we just took it out when we activate the vacuum.
Let me be clear that I agree with your explanation. That's
not an explanation. It's not an explanation. No, it wasn't an explanation. Do you know what is hypothesis and independent variable? So we put an independent variable inside the hypothesis being the air. So red one just told you his hypothesis about the air being the shit that is keeping the water on the cup. Demonstration, test of the hypothesis. Put that fucking cup of the water, take out, manipulate that independent variable. Take out fucking air. So you will not have water sitting on the cup anymore.
Okay, so let me be clear that I can't find a gap in your reasoning, right? But if you take theory of gravity and put into your reasoning this theory, then it will be still good reasoning without gaps, right? So you have two reasoning.
And put the unicorn, it will still work.
Sorry?
Put the unicorn too, and it will still work.
Well, yeah, but the unicorn won't explain other things. Right?
Yeah, it explains it. It pulled things.
Unicorn is the explanation. It's good.
It pulled things down.
Okay, I'm really losing my voice right now, so I will have to leave soon.
Leave.
Take care. Thanks for coming.
Have a good one.
Michio Kaku did not say anything about 4D anything time. He said, space-time pushes you into your chair. Space pushes you down.
Yes, space.
Who lied to you?
So, I guess everything's being pushed down. So if you remove the air pressure, where does water let me ask you this question. Is gravity pulling water to the ground?
Yes.
You are a fucking retard.
But why do you ask me over the same question? I'm not going to change my mind.
You just agreed with Necros that it's air pressure.
No, I agree.
You know that it's a lie.
I agree that there is some truth in this explanation, right? And probably part of what really happens is as you explained it, right? The air pressure exerts some force, right? But there is also gravity.
Added your belief. You added your belief while we didn't have any need for it. And because it's just a belief, and it doesn't do anything, it doesn't add anything, and if you remove it, it won't remove anything with it, it won't change anything. So you just have a belief, and you want to add it. Why the cup is sitting on why the water is sitting on the cup? You just add gravity to that.
Okay.
Yeah, like the Muslim will just tell you it's the power of Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Just a religion. You're just having a religion. It's called heliocentric. It's centered around Helios, the god of the sun. It's heliocentric. it's centered around the god of sun. So your religion, it's based on Helios. So you just have those ideas, like Muhammad went to meet his god on the back of Pegasus. Bullshit, no one can prove that. During the life of Muhammad, the moon was split in half, and God just made it together again by the will of God. Bullshit, no one can prove that. So it's just your religion. You're adding something that won't change anything. Just to believe. They told you gravity because for you you can't explain how you can stand or sit or live in Australia on the bottom of a ball. So if you just admit that gravity, it's not gravity pulling down on the cup of water. It was just the gas. When you took out the gas, there was nothing holding that water inside the cup. There wasn't any drop of water left on that cup. No gravity helped that water to sit on the cup. So you just add in your beliefs.
Which direction is down? I'd ask.
You don't have down. Yet. Because you're just going to you're going to try to throw in something for him. So, Pam, does gravity hold water to the ground?
Yes.
What is wrong with you?
It's like the whole conversation for the last hour and a half because it didn't happen.
Well, you
were listening to it, right? I asked them all that same question. That's the only question I've asked them, right?
Yeah, it's like
he keeps saying yes, but then he agrees that air pressure does it. But then we ask him again, he says, "No, it's gravity."
Because it's not that simple as you put it.
Yeah, no, it's yes, no question. It's as simple as that.
It's not simple.
It is simple for us because we don't need that gravity to hold people on the surface from falling down toward the space.
Well, you're just trying to make
we don't need
up some theories that are simple enough for you to understand. That's what happened.
We don't need gravity because we already live in a three-dimensional reality where you have three-dimensional space, which is 3 axes, height, length, and width. So those things, we have those things in our reality. So that shit that you don't have any vector, you don't have up and down. So if we take out gravity from your reality, because gravity is that magic force that holds the heliocentric lines together, so everything will fall apart. If we take out gravity, you can't have anything without gravity.
A simple cup of water debunked your globe in a vacuum.
Well, not really. I mean, my theory also checks out, right? So
no. It doesn't work.
I can take a cup of water, fill it up, put a card on top, flip it over, and the water doesn't pour out. Shut the fuck up.
What? And why does it prove that my theory is not right? I don't see.
Listen, and if you take out or you just try to remove the air that is around that flipped cup of water that Dimok talked about, the water would just fall.
This dude's an idiot. A straw disproves him. I got a straw in my hand right now. It's full of liquid. The open part's towards the ground. It's not going anywhere. Why? Why is the liquid in the straw not going to the ground, young man?
Never use gravity.
I'm sorry. I'm already sorry. If you won't answer, then you have to repeat.
The only explanation you can use is gravity. You can't use anything else.
I got it's air pressure. It's air pressure causing.
No, I know what I got going on.
I know that you know that. He's afraid to say it, and he doesn't know what to say at this point.
I know,
he's never going to use air pressure in a sentence again in his life because he's afraid of it.
I'm not afraid. I mean, I was enjoying this discussion, but right now I'm a bit tired. Sorry.
You mean a bit stupid or tired? Well, I forgot.
Well, I feel stupid all the time, but I'm
tired. The Globers don't use their brain that much, very often.
And that's one remark, guys, that I never insulted you guys, and you're insulting me all the time, right? And I could say the same, that you're stupid and so on, but I never did this.
You guys don't need to use your brains because it's on TV for you.
Why do you feel insulted? Let's start. Okay, once someone goes into victim status, it's very hard to pull them back from that. So, what exactly do you feel insulted by? Like, who hurt your feelings?
Well, you're telling me that I'm stupid all the time, but I'm not, right?
Hey, Justin, let's move forward. So, back to my question that you dodged earlier.
Okay, I didn't dodge, but okay.
Well, you did, but I'll ask it again. I'll give you a chance to not dodge it.
Go ahead.
What reason do I have to doubt that the Earth is flat?
Well, science says that you, unless you have evidence.
That's a really broad term. Science. You might be talking about real science. You might be talking about pseudoscience. What specifically in science, as you call it?
Well, you don't.
What specifically?
Unless, as far as I understand science, if you don't have proof, right? If your theory doesn't agree with experiments, then you shouldn't take this theory as the right theory, right?
Yeah, but it agrees with the experiments. So your theory doesn't agree with the experiment. So should you just leave it?
What experiment? What are we talking about here?
Gravity actually explains much more.
No, it doesn't explain anything.
It does.
No, it didn't.
It explains how.
It couldn't explain how the water is sitting on the surface or on the
it did explain.
bottom of the cup. No. It didn't.
No. Why?
Guys, if we're gonna waste time talking about gravity, oh wait, never mind.
And he didn't even answer the guy. How? What reason would it make him just change his ideas about the flat Earth? You showed nothing. So the science, we used science against you. Because you showed us just you don't understand anything about science, but you used the word science because it's a modern term, like genes and it's just the modernity. You are following the modernity because something that is used in our modern days very often in TV and those things. So even if you are not in that rank, you will have to use that shit because it's modern, it's fashion, like fashion for you. So you use a word that you don't even understand. Like those people who just cry for LGBTQ don't understand even those letters, what they mean, but they want to support like NPCs. I support that shit, whatever it is.
Well, first, I do understand something about science.
I don't. No, you don't.
Okay.
Don't tell me that. You didn't understand. No, you didn't. You didn't understand that gas pressure is a force.
Well, it's not a force.
You couldn't understand that. You told me that you use Newtonian units of measure for gas pressure. Since it's force.
No, you use pascals or some other units, right? But not units of force.
Still a force. It's still force exerts a bond, the walls of a container. Yeah, it is.
It's not force.
Yeah, it is. You said it. It's force divided.
I mean, I agreed.
Area.
It was
yeah,
hard.
It's a force. Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
The gas pressure is divided. Is the force is divided by
I never
area.
said it.
Like if you have
I never said it.
Like you have in body in the gym. So that press where you have two handles, two separate handles. So your body is exerting a force, one single force divided by two hands for separate handles. Like it's not like that fixed bar, which is one single handle where you can just use one hand to lift. No, now you have separate handles. You will have to divide the force used by your hands on two to lift that shit. So it's still force used by each hand. When you say the force divided by the area, it means the force exerts on each area.
But it's not a force.
It's oh my god.
Did he just say air's not a force?
Yeah, he just said it, but and he said also it's the force exerts.
I know that you do not work in any industry at all because everybody uses air pressure.
Yeah, because they are engineers, and engineers are really not. They are using those terms very loosely, right? But
wow.
But by definition,
we use them loosely. So when I need to calculate stuff and I need to know the maximum air pressure on it or what it's going to take and how open I need to have valves, that's just loosely. It's just based on loose shit.
Yes. Well, gotcha. if you're talking about pressure being force, it's not really a force. As far as I understand it, it's some quantity that tells you how much force is put on area, right?
Let me tell you what you can do as an experiment. Next time you get near a tornado, go run towards it and stand perfectly still and tell me if that's not a force.
And no, we were completely wrong. No, you were completely wrong by defining the gas pressure. That's not the definition of gas pressure. That's all.
That is the definition.
So when we say what is, I ask you, what is gas pressure? What that term mean? Do it. Don't give me your bullshit nonsense. That doesn't mean anything, and that doesn't exist anywhere that you are creating now. So can you tell me, please, what is the definition of gas pressure from a reliable source? Because you ask from reliable sources, and I can assure to you by just testing you and testing how you think and how you use things and how you use your brain. No, you're not at all a reliable source. So I can't take your own definition that you just created now seriously. Can you give me an official definition of what is gas pressure? Just type it in Google. Don't be so lazy. You never research anything in your life. You just regurgitate what you were told.
I did research a lot. Actually.
No. Can you give me?
I didn't research in physics, but
can you give me an official definition?
A better way to say that is he's researched before, but he's probably never thought critically about anything in his life.
Well, there is only one definition. There is no official or
give it to me. Give it to me, please. Give me the definition. Type gas pressure in a motor of research and give me the definition.
Put it in text chat so we can make sure you're reading it properly.
Oh my god.
Sorry. I'm not native English speaker, but so sometimes I have problems. Especially if you're talking over yourself, then it's sometimes hard to understand. If you want definition of pressure, then
gas pressure. Gas pressure. Put those two words. Insert or type those two words. Gas, space, pressure.
Oh, and you will Google Wikipedia, right?
Put the definition of gas pressure from any official source.
You need official.
Not your own definition. I don't want your own definition. Your own personal definition that you just made up 5 minutes ago. I don't accept it at all. Give me an official one. Something that was agreed upon by those scientists that you just said that you follow.
Okay, I will. But well, I have.
You were the guy first in the beginning of the discussion talking about reliable sources and physicists and PhDs and papers.
Yes.
Now you are trying to make up a new definition for gas pressure, depending to what you personally understand of what it means. And I don't accept that. I want to just take the number of people on the surface of the earth, their definition, to just explain what it is. No, I'm talking while you are researching the shit.
Hey, okay. Let me do this. Well, I found one on Wikipedia, right? But maybe you don't want Wikipedia.
Reliable source. So Wikipedia is where you get all your information. That's your PhD?
Not. I mean, it's the fastest one, right? And usually information checks out, right?
Source and source.
But it's really not a reliable source. I agree.
Yeah. So don't use it. No. If it's not a reliable source, don't use it.
Okay. Well, I will have to Google a bit deeper. But I don't think I will find anything else than on Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm. So there is no science around the gas pressure. NASA don't know about it. No one knows about it. No. It's a struggle, but they know about some shit that is far away from them. And some matter which is completely dark for them. They don't know, they do know about that.
And that engineers don't really know what they're doing with it, basically, is what he said. In so many words. They're just guessing when they use air pressure.
You're struggling to find a definition of gas pressure without the word force, or what?
No, I'm just trying.
I think it's the problem that you have now.
Find a textbook, you know.
Okay. Nowhere.
Sorry.
There is no problem. I just felt that you are struggling to find a definition about what is gas pressure.
Well,
that's engaging.
Yeah, I am. I am struggling actually, right?
Okay.
Because well, I want a reliable source, so it's I want either a paper in scientific journal, but for that I would have to go like 100 years ago probably, and it will be very hard to find. So I need at least some college or graduate textbook.
So I will help you, because the second link they gave you the one from NASA. I don't know if you are blind or something like that, but I'm going to help you.
Okay.
Yeah. You couldn't find one from NASA.
You know what is?
I think because for you, NASA is not. They are not reliable.
No, NASA is reliable, I guess. Yeah.
There it is in the chat. You can read.
Oh, okay.
That's good. Yeah, he posted it in the chat for you.
Someone find it. Great. What is gas pressure? Well, problem with those articles is that they are meant for general public.
Stop. You're reading it 59 minutes after the hour. Click on that nasa.gov link for your explanation.
Okay, I did. Pressure is the measure of the linear momentum of the gas molecules. That's what you want?
Yep.
Is it just that written there?
Well, yeah.
Read the entirety of the shit.
Well,
pressure is force over area.
It's about got time this two got booted. I think it's just a waste of time.
Correct. Force over area. So what about it?
Go ahead, read the entirety. You can't.
The entire article.
Pressure, force. You couldn't read that. So pressure is force over area.
Yes.
Small scale. Mass equal m. So that's the diagram. Pressure is a measure of the linear momentum of the gas molecules. Pressure force acts perpendicular to enclosing surfaces. Pressure is a scalar quantity, magnitude, no direction.
Okay. So it doesn't show that it's a force.
Oh, it's not that word. I think it means nothing.
The word force means nothing?
For you.
No, it does mean something.
So what it is?
Well, it's a vector quantity.
So it's a force.
The definition of that?
Sorry?
Where are you reading the definitions at?
So it means a force applied on an area.
What? What means what?
Where are you reading this definition at? Because what I've just read from Matthew Learns about gas pressure. Just put what he posted about gas pressure.
NASA.gov's link. Yeah, NASA.gov's link is what we're reading.
Yeah, pressure is force over area.
59 minutes after the hour.
Yeah.
So it's a force.
No, it's force over area.
So it's a force. Do you understand what that fucking word mean? Force over area. It's the force exerts on a certain area, and you will, if you want to have the quantity, you will quantify the force, the amount of the force over the specific number of the area that you have. Yeah, that's the force exerted by the gas on an area. Yeah, it's a force. What the heck?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you misunderstood. Pressure itself.
That's not true.
Up, Matthew.
That's natural law. So you need to show us gas pressure without containment. Thanks.
Stick your hand out a window of a moving car. There you go.
Where do you get your
the gas there's already gas pressure out of the car, Matthew.
But there's
you need
more
to show gas pressure.
Yeah, there's more.
You show gas pressure with that. So you're in a car and you're sticking your hand into gas pressure. That doesn't demonstrate gas pressure without containment.
Moving air causes more pressure on the front of your hand than the back of your hand. That's an example.
It's not an argument.
Caused by something else.
Yeah, gas pressure is pressing on your hand. So where do we get the gas pressure from? It needs to be contained.
No, it doesn't.
So if you can't show gas pressure without a container, then sit down.
The atmosphere is an example of gas pressure without a container.
That's the question.
Yeah, that's begging the question, Matthew. That's begging the question.
God, Matthew.
You need to show gas pressure without a containment. Same for PEM.
Oh, so
show us gas without a container. Numpties.
I should reify a container.
No, are you that slow? The thing is, contention now is that air around us. So you point to that air to use it as a proof for the absence of a container. We use it as a proof for the presence of a container.
So you're allowed to reify.
It's not reification. It's an antecedent.
We want some of the container. We want
we was kings and shit, man.
No, we want to use that container ourselves so we can hold water with it ourselves to have a gravity mug.
I don't know what you're talking about there. There's an Matthew learns.
No, gravity cup.
Stop, Dima, because you're just spitting out there. It's an antecedent relationship, Matthew.
I think that's false. I think there is no the only antecedent thing for gas pressure is a pressure caused by gas. That's all you need.
Show us how to do that and hold it into a ball. Definition. Well, show us how to hold a ball in that shape, though. Stupid. Fuck. You show us gas pressure, hold a ball into a ball shape of gas pressure with just a sphere of gas with gas pressure. Dumbass.
Crickets.
Where did the gas hold itself at? So if you only put a little bit of gas somewhere, it's just going to hold a sphere in there, right? Because it holds itself. That's what you're saying. Gas holds gas.
So yeah, gas goes up. Water vapor, steam, smoke, clouds, helium balloons, they all go up. And they'll keep going up. They don't just stop at the vacuum of space and go, oh, I'm just going to stop here and just hang around or just float back down to Earth. No. They bounce off the walls of the container.
They don't go to.
So you need to show us gas pressure without a container. Go and tip some of that sulfur hexafluoride into a field, and then come back tomorrow and tell me if you can measure gas pressure in the sulfur hexafluoride. I don't think you can, but give it a go.
But you don't really need a container for gas pressure. That's true.
Right.
Gas pressure is defined abstractly.
Really? Pen, you're an idiot, bro. You couldn't agree to a basketball being spherical. I mean, I would have booted your ass by now, bro. You're just a waste of time.
I demand definitions. I demand definitions, right? But you can't provide definitions, of course. That's the whole problem.
You provided an example of a basketball is an example of sphericity, and you just said no.
Sorry, basketball
want to obfuscate that. So you're a waste of time. I'm not feeding the monkeys now.
Yeah, just because he speaks English badly from a different country, he's not a monkey.
He's a space monkey. So are you, Matthew.
I think it's rude to call
you're
people
space monkey.
Other ethnicities monkeys.
No, you're a monkey. You're a monkey. You're a space monkey. Yeah.
I'm not offended. I actually came to this server
you have
just
to bring some ridiculous thing into it. No, you're a space monkey. You just point at the sky and say, "Look at the sky. Look at the space. Look at the stars. Earth must be a globe."
Yeah, look at all the evidence.
We must be monkeys. Yeah,
I'm not feeding the monkeys, dude. It's a saying. Don't feed the monkeys. Okay.
I mean,
so yeah. Why don't you go back to teaching kids about? Yeah, you know what.
But you guys realize that the only we can have this discussion only because mainstream physics exists, right? You realize that. I hope that quantum physics wouldn't exist without mainstream physics, without gravity, and without quantum physics, we don't have computers, basically.
Gravity was debunked, and you keep forgetting that.
You think we're having this discussion because of gravity? Is that what you just said? Because of gravity, we're having this discussion?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you will.
Yeah, I'm tired. It's really tiring. It was fun at first, and I actually honestly felt that this is some kind of joke, right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not fun when you're getting your ass tore up.
I mean, I demand definitions, and you can't provide them. So
what definition would you like?
Of curvature, of flatness.
Curvature, right?
You can't provide rigorous definitions. If you want to provide rigorous definitions, you really need to go through pretty advanced courses in mathematics, like topology.
Curvature and flatness?
Yes.
Mathematics is an abstract. Curvature and flatness? Are you talking about geography? What are you talking about? Geometry?
We are talking about mathematics, advanced mathematics.
We don't deal in only mathematics because mathematics is abstract.
Well, it provides
meaning that anything
means of measuring real quantities.
Okay, Pam, I have a definition for you.
Because mathematics deals in the abstract, you can make mathematics do anything.
Not really. I mean, no, you can't.
Yes, really.
No, you can't.
Yesterday,
Matthew had a definition. Give him a second.
Just 1 point. I tried to derive in the chat yesterday the just F equals MA from there, and then F equals GMM over R squared. And these guys basically said, or one of these guys represented everyone and said, I don't care what you're trying to derive because I'm going to reject your mathematics because it doesn't make sense. So just understand who you're dealing with here.
Yeah, I know. I'm here just to practice my English, quite honestly. And I thought that it's...
All right, well, Matthew had a definition.
Yeah, Pem, you're doing really good with your English. Let me just say, here is a way that you could simplify the question of flat versus not flat. It's a simple question. Is the direction of down in New York parallel to the direction of down in Los Angeles? That one question right there differentiates most flat earthers from most globers. So globers would say the direction of down is not
Matthew, hold on a second. Let him answer the question. You don't need to hear what globers would say.
Yeah, listen to him try to feed him the answers. That's bizarre.
He knows the answer. What are you talking about?
This is not correct definition. This is not a correct definition, Matthew. Okay.
So is down in Los Angeles parallel to down in New York?
This is not the correct definition. Okay.
We're asking you a question. Is down in Los Angeles parallel to down in New York?
No. No.
You seemed really sure of that.
Yeah.
So construction companies using plumb bobs, those are all incorrect?
Well, they are within some kind of measurement error, right? And it all depends on what you mean direction down. How do you define direction down, right?
Like when I point to the ground, I'm pointing down.
Oh, this is a very stupid definition.
What?
Okay, this is not a definition. Point to the ground, oh, please.
Okay, I'm pointing to the ground. Pointing down.
Sure.
Yep.
Point to the ground.
You point too. Are our fingers parallel with each other?
Please, this is the most stupid thing I heard this month.
Yeah, it's fucking mind melting for you, isn't it?
Point to the ground. You could point to the center of mass.
Do you know what that means? Point to ground?
Yes, but I... Please, it's...
Are you pointing down? Please!
Sorry?
Are you pointing down? Are you pointing to the ground?
Okay, I am pointing down, so what now?
It's a good first step.
I'm pointing down too. I'm pointing down too. So are we both pointing the same direction?
No.
Come.
Welcome to flat Earth.
Well, you're not pointing to the same
Well, if
direction.
you're on a ball, everyone would have to be pointing towards the center of it.
Oh, come. Okay.
Oh,
what do you
come
mean?
on, please.
No, what do you mean by direction? What do you mean by direction?
If we're pointing down, are we all pointing at the same thing?
I'm sorry. I'm okay. Yes, we are pointing at the same thing. If I understand correctly your definition of direction, then we are pointing in the same direction.
Are we pointing the same way?
What do you mean?
We're pointing all in the same direction.
If you are pointing down, and by down you mean to the center of mass of Earth, then we all are pointing to the same direction by definition. Okay?
It's funny how your brain has to work to include your ball.
Well, I have to include definitions, which you obviously lack. So,
no, we're all pointing down everywhere.
What's your definition?
Down.
I'm sorry, but this
discussion is down.
This discussion really resembles just some.
Give us the definition of down.
Earth is flat. Yes, I'm an intellectual.
My don't have definition of down because I never said that we are pointing down. But I guess if you want somehow how Earth is shaped, so that would have to include center of mass of Earth. And so by the way, center of mass does not assume that Earth, but center of mass. Every object has center of mass.
Every object has center of mass.
Sorry?
Is that what you just said?
It's not a good definition.
No, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, you have to go through a whole sort of mental gymnastics. Got to figure, well, we're down. What do you mean by down? I mean, down just means down, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't go through this mental
gymnastics. From your perspective, mountain depends on where you're standing at on a area.
Sure. Well, this mental gymnastic is called. Go through it, and you come up with stupid theories like flat
shape of the Earth is not science, bro.
What is not
science? It doesn't deal with shape of the Earth.
It does.
It does. So
yes, it's science.
You believe geometry is science?
Well, I don't believe it. It is science.
You're in the category.
Do a geometry experiment for me.
Well, science does not have to include experiments.
Oh, really?
Yes. Well, mathematics is science.
Doesn't know if a ball curves.
I do know. I do know, and I can define curvature. As I said, you can't define it.
Define down. How are you going to define?
So you're saying mathematics is a natural?
Natural.
We're in the category error then, because we're speaking when we say science here, we're always speaking about natural science.
Okay, so then mathematics out maybe. DAS Studio 68. I can define curvature once again. Okay, so first, do you know what is a manifold? No, it's not a manifold. By manifold, I mean abstract mathematical.
A mathematical manifold. Come on, man.
If
well,
it's beyond.
Abstract provides model for real, so we have to deal with abstract. That's what we've been dealing with since the beginning of this discussion. So I'm sorry, but that's how science works. And I'm really getting...
Draw a smooth embedding and then an interval. The fuck are you talking about?
Do you want definition? A smooth embedding of an interval?
No.
Well, it depends on the embedding, obviously.
No, it depends on what you draw.
Yes. but you can't really draw a smooth embedding is abstract term once again, and what you draw is real, and it's just approximation of abstract, right? So you can't draw it. You can have a rigorous definition of.
You can't draw it.
You can't draw it because it's abstract.
What are we talking about right now?
We're talking about mathematics and modeling of mathematics.
Something that's not physical and doesn't exist, but in your mind. How would that help you, brother?
Well, that's how science is done. That you create. That's how.
Can I ask? The embedding, would that be all the points between?
Yeah. Why is he muted?
Oh yeah.
Tim, do you think your English teacher would be happy with that answer?
Yeah, she's confused about where we're at.
Yeah, he's not in this conversation.
That's really rude to just mute him. I feel like
worry about yourself.
Flat is for you.
What?
I posted what curved and flat is for you. Very simple. You want to get into fucking quantum physics and shit to just come up with a curve?
Yeah, it's something that's not even physical. He wants to get into the non-physics of physics by being it don't even. What the? Yeah, man. Whoa.
Yeah, that's how mainstream